Good morning. Good morning. It's 2:40 a.m. I'm on my way to the gym right now. I seen something interesting yesterday. I took the two youngest kids. What we do when we have free time is we go to somewhere cheap, but somewhere where you can learn. Now that typically that place is Barnes and Noble. That's, like, in my mind, that's one of the greatest places on earth. There's so much resource there, but it's better than a library because they have coffee. So, but we pull up to the Barnes and Noble, and the first thing I noticed was a police officer outside. And I pull up, I park, and the lady that the police officer was talking to walks over to our car. She looks like she's in need. But I'm thinking, how can you be in need and you're talking to a police officer? So whatever they were going through, whatever they were doing, resolving, it was a little peculiar. So Silas says, why is there a police officer right there talking to that lady? So I don't know. Either way, I got my kids with me. I move from that parking spot and I move into a different parking spot because I don't know what's getting ready to go down, nor do I want to be involved with it. So as we're watching this situation play out, no sooner than the police officer escorted the lady off the property, he goes inside the Barnes & Noble, because I assume that some of his off-duty work was working at this Barnes & Noble, and for good reason. Because not even 3 minutes later, this man and this woman walk up, and she's crying, and she's running from him. And I can't make out what they're saying, but I can tell that they're not in a good place. The girl's trying to get away from the guy. The guy is running after her, almost as if they wanted us to see how this drama played out. They stop on the other side of the Barnes & Noble, just outside of the ear or the eye shot of anybody inside, but just within earshot and eyesight of me and my kids. Now, by this time, I'm watching the woman screaming, telling her to stop following me, leave me alone. And I'm watching. One is because I don't want him to put his hands on her. But I'm also watching to see if I'm going to take my kids inside this particular Barnes & Noble, because it looks like there's a lot going on. The lady starts running in the opposite direction now. So I felt better, take my kids out the car. Long story short, he runs after her. And he grabs her. Now, by this time, I'm looking harder. Another man comes out. He's looking. Police officer hadn't made it back out yet. So when he grabs her, I yell, "Hey!" Now, by this time, the police officer's coming out. And now the police officer is running across the street towards them. The lady breaks off. Some way, somehow, the police officer got a hold of the guy. He's got him on the ground. The lady done ran. I'm assuming she might have had some drugs on her. Because she ran as if she had just stole something, not as if she was a victim. I say all this to say, I took my kids inside and we went and played a game. We got a large cookie. I picked my daughter up out of her car seat. We walked inside. I took them straight for the bakery, got them a cookie. I ate a lot of it. And we played a game. I say all that to say, what they witnessed in the span of maybe 5 minutes was really the kind of life that I lived. Growing up, it's always oh my God. Like, in my adult life, since I came home in 2006, I've had the police at my door twice. 3 times. I take that back. Once was a domestic violence call. Not with my wife, but with an ex. The second one, a police officer followed me to my house because I guess I was speeding, but I wasn't. I didn't get a ticket. And the third one, I was barbecuing something and I accidentally threw some hot coals away in the garbage, and my uncle, subsequently the one who had passed away recently, said, yeah, the police called me. I'm over here at your house. The garbage can burnt to the ground. And side of your stucco on your house is burnt up because of the flames. That was it. In the last 13, 14 years. That's it. As a kid, I would have to say if it wasn't every week, if it wasn't every other week, it was every week that I remember. The police were at our door because the neighbors called them because the yelling and the fighting and the breaking of stuff was so loud. So loud. Like I grew up with police coming to our door on a fairly regular basis. And a lot of the reason why I wanted to make a change in my life was because I didn't want them to go through that same thing. So when Silas is standing there and he's asking, why is the police officer, what's going on with that couple, what's going on? It's because they're not aware that those situations happen all the time and they're not uncommon. What I'm trying to say is God puts us in a situation throughout our life so that we don't have to put our kids through the exact same situation. You know, it's almost like you're carrying the cross for your kids, or you're bearing the cross for your kids. For me, it's domestic violence and it's all these other situations that tend to come up. Well, because I've already suffered through it, I don't feel the need to have my kids suffer through it. Or deal with it. I say all that to say that lately I've been questioning a lot about my purpose and being patient enough to watch it unfold. But when I see things like that take place and happen, I become thankful that I've experienced these things in my life to the point where I can spare my own kids from having to experience similar situations. And you have to be thankful that you're in a position that you are, because it's those life lessons that ultimately give you the boost up that you need to get to where you need to be.